Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Seeds and Structure. It's still your man, Austin, and I'm here to bring you another wonderful episode for us to discuss today and make the best use of this opportunity. If you've not joined us yet, kindly go down and click the subscribe button so you can get more information about us and what we do. And whenever we have a new update, you will be the first to see what we have. So, without wasting so much of your time on this episode, I'll be talking about some of the lessons I learned while traveling to China multiple times as someone in corporate development. So, one of the most interesting things that my role offers me is the opportunity to be able to broker out conversations with other companies across the globe. And for me, this has been a very unique opportunity for me to as well explore the country, render value and essential services as needed by my employer to these organizations, as well as understand the thinking around why certain things work the way they do in these countries, and how we can as well replicate them elsewhere in the globe. So I've been opportunity to be in China a couple of times. The first time I went or had the opportunity to travel to China was sometime in November last year. This was more a familiarization process or engagement because I had partners from other countries in Asia that wanted me to be around, as well as a local firm in Nigeria that equally wanted me to do more of knowledge transfer exposition with our Chinese counterparts. So there are a couple of things I learned on this trip. Everyone is going to China. If you check a lot of content, you see people say, "Oh, come to China with this, come to China with that." But this is not one of those episodes. Rather, this is tailor-made to suit business owners as well as career professionals and other business enthusiasts, helping them understand why the world is looking at China as a possible business destination. It might equally interest you to know that research has proven, or data has proven, that in the past 12 months, over 15 world leaders have visited China. Most recently, last week, Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, was equally in China, for business as well as strengthening their diplomatic relationship between the United States and the People's Republic of China. Subsequently, Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, would be visiting China, and this has to be his 25th visit to China. So you might want to ask yourself, what's actually going on in China? And I've frequently told business people that care to listen that there's something phenomenal or transformative going on in the Asian region, and China is leading the charge. It's leading the development. It's leading the change. It's leading this transformation. So as a business owner, one of the ways you can read trends or understand trends is to look at patterns when it comes to geopolitics, right? When it comes to the economy, when it comes to global economy, right? When it comes to business and the world economy, right? This is a trend you need to understand. You need to identify this pattern. There's something unique. There's something transformational going on, in China, and it might just be, your best of interest to learn how to plug in. So for me, these lessons are a bit transformational, and I hope they will equally help you. So one big lesson I've learned is the business I've had the opportunity to visit in China all see themselves not just as a going concern, right? They see themselves as people rendering. So it's all about value. And one thing I believe every businessman should ask, or even as a corporate professional, a 9-to-5er, one thing you should always ask yourself is, what is the value I'm giving at every point in time? Beyond your JD, beyond your job description on the regular, what value am I exuding, right? This is quite critical, for you to be able to understand how the world, looks at you, or how others see you. your job rather should just be beyond making salary or earning salary. Ask yourself this big question: what value am I really rendering? And that's one thing I say in Chinese business. Everybody has a USP, a unique value proposition. Everybody is rendering something to somebody. Everybody is giving out something that every other person or some other persons at the end of the food chain or the value chain equally wants. So value is quite critical, and I've seen this, right? Every business, no matter how small they are, seem to have enshrined their value, right, in their products. And this comes from their unique packaging. This comes from how they perceive you as a business, as a customer. This comes from how they perceive the things you are telling them. This comes from even how they respond to you as a person. I mean, a couple of times I walk into different stores, and I even before I even start discussing why I'm there, they're already offering me tea because of probably the way I'm dressed, the way I'm looked, and all that. They're already offering me tea, and they're equally trying to sell something to me even before I can even say the reason why I'm here. So you need to look beyond your business as a product or a service you're offering. Look at the value. If your business, if your product or the service you're offering is actually creating a positive change in the life of the end user, then that's probably the value you are creating. Look for how to maximize this value, so that people don't get to mistake you for what you are not. So the second thing I would like to talk about is culture and national system of innovation. Now you can't remove culture from the way people do business in China. Every Chinese business I've had the opportunity to interact with has a link to their cultural background, and this has equally helped them enshrine their culture in their national system of innovation. Everybody is thinking in a particular direction that reflects who they are from a cultural perspective, and this equally shows the long-term thinking they have as a people. It might surprise you to know that China sometime last year concluded their fifth year plan for the 15th time. This is quite interesting. Their fifth year plan for the 15th time, and it may interest you to know that every business owner, majority of business owners I've interacted with already know the key areas or the key segments the government is looking at to channel her resources. They already know where they're meant to plug in to ensure that they're maximizing returns. They're not just expending or wasting money. They're actually maximizing their returns, right? So as I've said, it's a national system of thinking, a national system of innovation, because this filters down from national level right to the local level. So every business I interacted with already has a form of their culture embedded into their national system of innovation. The other thing I learned from my numerous trips in China is you must always negotiate and you must be willing to collaborate. Collaboration is a big deal for the Chinese people. They are willing to ensure that they even allow you brand some particular product with your own brand, with your own unique identity, with your own business name, as long as that business relationship is solidified, as long as doing business in perpetuity or in continuity with you is guaranteed. They do not want to compromise quality, but they want your business. So collaboration is a big deal, and negotiation is a key ingredient in collaboration. You must learn how to negotiate your way through, right? You must not be a top salesman to be able to negotiate. They expect you to come in with that attitude of being willing, being open to negotiating with them, right? Another thing I learned is consistency. There is power in consistency. The more consistent you are in bringing solution or being innovative, right, the more you enjoy economics of scale and scope. You're not limited by happiness around your environment, right? Because you are consistent. You have consistently delivered on certain value, on certain promises, on certain brand promises you have given, to them. I even learned that, even in their packaging, for some products, they expect there's a particular amount of details, that, you see across board, right? So consistency, has been key, for them. and that's one thing that I think every other businessman or even career professionals, should learn. The other part has to do with data-led decision making. Decision making is not just taken on with no assumptions, right? They are data, they are key data. I mean, I know a lot of businesses, in this part of the world, especially in Africa, are coming into terms with this, but these has equally been embedded with these guys, for a long time. Every decision that they need to make has to be backed up, by certain data. Another thing that shocks me also is the part of healthy competition, right? Competition is a key, right? That's why you can have different equipment manufacturers making the same product, yet they are competing, with others, because they understand the market is too broad. The market is too big. You have your own unique set of customers. You have the strategy you are using to attract your customers. Are you operating from the point of price differentiation? Are you operating from the point of product differentiation? Right? Your strategies, need to be properly aligned and articulated. Let people know if you are competing based on price, right? Stick to that. If you are competing based on value or essentials or key features, your product offers, if that's a differentiating factor for you, stick to that. So competition should be as healthy, and sane as possible. Then the final one is systems thinking. You don't think as a one man, as an individual doing a business. You think as a system. You look at every other core component that makes your business work. You look at every other key driver that make your business, work. You even understand what your cost drivers are as a business person. So you are thinking in system. One decision, right, can, give you this multiplier effect and help you grow, as well as one decision can equally cripple your ability to become sustainable, to remain profitable in the long run. So system thinking has been something that has been incorporated, to a lot of Chinese businesses. And whenever I discuss, with owners, like when I was in the drone sites talking with owners and all that, this is one thing they kept on emphasizing. Every part, every unit sees themselves as an integral part to the success of the firm. It must not be the sales unit that would go and close the deal. Even from the production unit, even from the R&D unit, everybody is thinking as a system, because they understand the more they can work together and collaborate internally as a system, the better their chances to survive, on the long run. I hope this informs and this equally helps you to be able to rejig your strategy as a small business owner. And remembering that you don't need to go to a business school to learn the skill of or to learn anything that the MBA classes will teach you. If you can keep to this few points that has been mentioned today and learn from the great Chinese people. Till I come your way again with another episode, stay chilled. Cheers.